As a family and child studies major, it is important for me to understand family dynamics. And one of the family dynamics that interests me the most are extramarital affairs, or EMAs. Marriage is a commitment between two people that have identified themselves as being lifelong partners. But sometimes a partner begins to move away from the marriage and engage in relations with another person without the significant other's knowledge. This is known as an affair. Research has shown that anywhere between 30 to 60% of all married couples will experience some form of infidelity. Men and women both engage in affairs, both for different reasons. Women tend to be more driven to have affairs for emotional reasons, while men tend to have an affair for more physical reasons. However, both can be detrimental to a marriage. Extramarital affairs are difficult to comprehend, and while they're a good predictor that a marriage might end in divorce, they might not always be the reason couples separate. Marriage is a complex system to fully understand and is composed of many different elements. Marital issues prior to an affair can be a strong positive motive to engage in an extramarital affair, therefore increase the risk of a divorce. Couples who have experienced issues prior to the divorce are seen as being vulnerable for the affair to happen in the first place. Recurring issues that are not able to be resolved can dissolve a marriage quickly. As these conflicts occur more and more frequently, there become windows of opportunity for the affair to begin taking place. In a study done by Genfro, Jurich, and Mong, women who had engaged in extramarital affairs had listed inability to resolve conflict as one of the reasons for pursuing a new partner. Half of the women in the study had reported many failed attempts to resolve the conflict by expressing their feelings to their husbands, but never seeing any progress to make amends, while the other half of the women avoided conflict and never made any attempts to repair the marriage. Women have more emotional desires whenever they are participating in an extramarital affair. These would be considered low opportunity, high involvement, and are seen as the most threatening type of affairs to a marriage. Women who reported participating in extramarital affairs reported feeling guilt and neglected by their husbands. In this study, affairs typically happen when the husband began a new job that required more of their time, and couples began to have less conversation and less alone time. The feeling of being neglected led these women to engage in extramarital affairs because they enjoyed the attention and affection they were getting from their new suitors. These women also report that a lack of quality time and attention made them feel as if they were not a priority in their husband's life, and they reported wanting stronger communication skills, more intimacy, and more attention. Throughout the time, their husband's inability to make the marriage better created a false image that their new partner was a better suit for them. While women are reported to be more prone to forming emotional affairs and forming an attachment to the person they have the affair with. Men, on the other hand, are more likely to form sexual relations outside of the marriage. Their type of affair is known as high opportunity, low involvement, and are seen as the less threatening type to a marriage. Men are more likely to seek younger partner and act on an affair on a hasty moment. While men's affairs can last for long periods of time, it is not normally the case. Most affairs are seen as a window of opportunity, meaning the affair took place with this one person only one time. Men reported that a decline in sexual satisfaction with their wives led to a primary reason to start an affair. Shockingly enough, there have been some health benefits to men who have extramarital affairs. In a study done by Fisher, Bandy, and extras, they found unfaithful men have higher sexual performance and higher levels of androgens. Research also found that men who were having EMAs had a higher level of testosterone, larger testes volume, and fewer reports of erectile dysfunction. However, there can be negative effects to having an affair. There's been a significant amount of guilt related to those who have had the affair without their partner's knowledge, and has led to a strain on cardiovascular health. Affairs not only have a part in physical health, they can also have a role in emotional health. People who had EMAs reported they had positive emotions such as desirability, happiness, love, sexual satisfaction, friendship, energy, and openness. People reported that they had begun to feel alive again, and they were able to find new friendships and have more energy. People also reported feeling as if they had started a new journey in their life and were growing as a person. While there are positive emotions, there are also negative emotions. People participating in an affair have many feelings of guilt and shame, disappointment, anxiety, depression, and jealousy. These are very obvious emotions that can be felt by not only the person participating in the affair, but also by the spouse. While it might seem difficult for marriages to overcome an affair, most do. In fact, 70% of infidelities in a marriage will survive. Couples who find resiliency and cope with the previous betrayal have a higher level of marital satisfaction throughout their life course. At the same time, other marriages were broken up due to the inability to forgive their partner for their betrayal. Couples who have experienced an affair will often seek help from a couples therapy in order to rebuild their marriages and find techniques to help them remain in balance with one another. Tactics that will help a marriage survive an affair are developing commitment, trust, responsibility, and the need for change. In social exchange theory, it emphasizes the cost and rewards concept. Cost to be considered a status, relationship, or feeling that an individual does not find pleasure in and does not receive joy from, while a reward are things in a person's physical, social, and psychological world that are experienced as pleasurable. People who engage in affairs, especially women, felt the lack of attention and affection from their husbands, and so they began to seek those desires in others who would provide for them with their needs. For men, it was more physically driven and by feeling as if their wife was not pleasing them sexually. To have an affair would be considered as a reward in their eyes by gaining what is not being met within the marriage, while a cost would be seen as potential to lose their marriage. Another reward was viewed when couples made mutual efforts within their relationship. Couples who upkeep their relationships tend to be more satisfied with their marriage than those who neglect their partner. While putting forth effort in marriage might seem difficult at times, it is noted that higher marital satisfaction can lead to a decrease in the chance of an affair taking place. The cause in many relationships is that there is one who always has more power than the other. In relationships, the one person who is not as involved as the other or have mutual feelings will always hold the more power. By doing this, the relationship will suffer due to the power struggle of who is more invested in causing an imbalance in marital satisfaction. Whenever one partner withdraws from a marriage, the other partner will suffer in some form. The main person who is not engaged in the relationship will allow the other person a window of opportunity to find their needs in another person during this time. Costs that can be seen through this incident are the potential for divorce, loss of trust between spouses, marital dissatisfaction, and the potential for a revenge affair to happen to the unfaithful partner. An assumption that can be made from these reasons for why people might engage in affairs and weigh the costs and rewards that humans are motivated by self-interest. Therefore, considerations of an affair will always be based off internal desires and will always have a cost and a reward. Family stress theory is another theory to consider whenever looking at an affair from an outside perspective. Family stress theory focuses on the stresses that a family endures and how well they perceive the stressors and whether or not they are able to find resiliency or go into a crisis from the stressors that are affecting them. When applying family stress theory to the event of an affair, it needs to be recognized that this is a stressor that can cause a marriage to rebuild or find resiliency or to maladapt. These can cause the marriage to dissolve. The first initial stress was brought into the relationship by the partner felt as if he or she was no longer desirable to their partner anymore. They felt neglected and unloved, and this can lead to a strain on the marriage. By having feelings such as these, the affair was a way to cope with the lack of attention and communication within the marriage. Concepts that can be applied to this theory are non-normative event